Hello YouTube and fellow Shroomies. Welcome to this video on Legend of Mushroom, and this is going to be a comprehensive beginner guide giving you a quick overview on how to approach this game at a high level strategy if you're thinking about getting into Legend of Mushrooms, and then doing a quick overview on how to go over resource management and all the different aspects of the game that will contribute to your overall strength. In subsequent videos, I will be going over these different aspects of the game in detail, as I normally do for all the different games covered in my channel. I like to go into things in a lot of detail and give you all the tips and tricks about everything. But today, this will focus more on a quick overview. And the first thing I'll start off with when it comes to talking about overall strategy is recognizing this is an idle game. Just by looking at it, right? And really, the key resource at your disposal is actually time. The more you play this game, the longer you have simply logging into the game and making sure you collect all of your resources before hitting the timer limit is actually the most important aspect. A couple of examples, right? Someone who actually has the time to come in and check your farm and collect them right as soon as they're finished growing. Go into your mine and dig through your mine to make sure that it doesn't hit the maximum limit. And that's about an 8-hour cycle or so as well. Your parking lot, make sure you come in here and claim your amount before the 8-hour mark. Right? Someone here is at the 8-hour mark and they didn't collect it. And that's basically opportunity lost. Now, that is for someone who wants to be super sweaty. Literally, you're now feeling like you're living around the clock, and it's pretty much you need to log into the game every 8 hours or so to maximize all your resource income. So this is the kind of game, if you want to maximize everything as a free-to-play. You live on a clock of 8 hours, and there's many aspects of the game, like for example the boss, which is a huge aspect of your resources. It's every 8 hours, so be able to plan your day around that to play a game like this. And if you don't like that but you want to play a casual game, this will still work out for you. Like I mentioned in a previous video, this is a very family and kids friendly game, and you can definitely enjoy it with your significant other or play along with your kids. And you can play more casually if you don't want to, min-max everything. Of course, all the guides on my video, I'll go kind of at a high level how you want to think about it. But of course, for the people who want to min-max everything and be super efficient about their gameplay, you've come to the right place to get all that detail as well. Now recognizing, what kind of game this is and where majority of the income come from, of course, there is the aspect about how do you actually interact with other players in this game. And you will notice in this game, you have a family system. That's kind of like the same as your guild. And as much as there, is guild versus guild battle, and right now it's in cooldown with the family brawl, this is only a small part. During the week, you have a lot of server versus server content. So for example, in Parking Wars, we just had our cross server battle against these other servers, and you will notice that in your server clusters you often will end up facing similar servers created around the same time as your server did, and just so that is fair. Same with family brawl, you'll notice that in your season you have, I think, a list of here is the list of different guilds across, and you can see the servers participated, and these are all the servers that are created around the same time as your server did. Usually they're like plus or minus a week around your starting time, and then that forms a bracket that also play into your cross server showdown. This will be the same grouping as your parking lot, as well as your sailing event, which happens, I think, every 5 or 6 weeks or so. All of these are very much server versus server. So when you have a game like this, it's really about making sure you are part of an active server and you're working together. And the more active your server is, and more importantly, does your server have a big whale, a big spender that can carry everybody and help with a leaderboard. So for example, something like sailing, if you have a really strong player that can just dominate everybody out there, or in parking or any of these events, if your server has the biggest whale and then you have enough players to support that whale to capture objectives, you're going to have a really easy time, and your server as a whole is going to do really well. So there's a lot more collaboration within the server, regardless whether you're just, the biggest whale or you're just a player. Having a collaborative and friendly server is super important. There's a new server created every single day. So if you don't like the people you're playing with, just go to another server when you're starting out. Don't jump into this game and then just, like I say this about every game that I talk about on my channel. The first thing when you go into a game, I highly recommend you play it, see if you enjoy this style, see if you like the people you're playing with a little bit, learn the mechanics a little bit before you commit to it. And then once you're ready to commit, that's when you try to find, a good server. That's when you decide if you want to start spending or not. At the beginning, is just really get a feel for the game. And just like, I talk about how for myself, I saw my son play this game for almost a month before I decided to give it a try myself. And of course, even though this is the server I started on and stuck with, I felt really lucky because I have a bunch of great friends, in our family here, and they make the game a lot more fun. And with all of these games, it's more about the gaming culture and the community. And I find both this one and the server my son is on, like, the people are really nice. So, but if you happen to be a server that is quite, not very friendly, and there are people talking about obscene stuff, just simply, recreate another account. And the thing here is, when you create an account, and let's see what server we're at now. Go to select a server, and here you have, you pick the zone, right? Like you have Eastern time zone. I think you have also EU. You can match the different language. But looking at kind of the English zone, like the latest zones, like you have a lot of different, the older server, here's the newest server. Newest server is like 825 now, and every day there's a new one created. So just move on to the next server, start. There's very low cost and effort. And I believe there are events like where, if you want to come back to the game, like you want to give up on your account, I think there's a way for you to start on the latest server, and portion of what you spend will also go towards that. Now, that's kind of the general overall strategy in terms of thinking about it. The next portion of the video will really talk about the different currencies and resources and how you want to manage resources. In this game, especially if you're free to play, a big component is around the rush calendar. So your month is divided into a period of 4 weeks, and you have prayer, you have tech, you have soul, and relic is the one that we're actually running off of right now. And there's 20 minutes left. And you can see these reward rankings are absolutely key to getting these valuable resources for Skyrider passes, and they are used to buy the mounts and items and upgrade them in the shop. And some of these are probably, the best accessible mounts for free-to-play players. For example, this will be a really good one for warriors. This one will be a good one for mage, and this one is good for archers. I hope they release a good mount for the new class around Beastmasters as well. But these ones are really good. And of course, there's also this event on the side, which you can kind of save your resources for and get one of these ones. You save up to about 500. They accumulate over different events. But the whole game, I would say, around these 4 key resources, they are all revolving around the rush event, which means you should really be saving up your key resource. So for example, right now we're on the relic event, and you can see the resource used to it is these little fork thingies. And I've been saving them for the entire 3 months when the event is not on, and I spend it all in the week that is for that. And you can get, the relic events through the dungeon here, Ruined Ancient City. Now, in this guide, I won't go into the detail about every single thing, on how to beat these and how to optimize your team around it. It's really about the overall strategy for this game and what to expect. In the subsequent video, like I mentioned, I'll eventually create a playlist, and you will find detail about every aspect of the game. So, for prayer, you manage it through your farm here, right? And basically, for someone who, and this is something where, if you're someone who has a lot of time and you love farming, these type of plants take anywhere between 3 to 4 hours to grow once you start leveling up your buildings. It starts at 6 hours and you work your way down. At max level, I think it's 3 hours for these, and 45 minutes and 130 for the middle type of plants. But if you have the time to just quickly go onto your phone, collect your plants and plant them again, you're going to have a lot in between. So here you can see the amount that I have saved, over a span of 3 weeks, getting ready to go for the event starting in 20 minutes next week, right? And this is the one that you use for your statue, which is to update your global stats. But what's important is about how you get ready for these. So you can see, I'm around just when it's ready. So now I can quickly collect them and then just harvest all and then just plant them all again. And I'll be back in 3 hours and 28 minutes. And for the other events, you got mines, right? And in here, you have if you happen to unlock the ads free, you get ads, or you can just watch ads for some couple extra ones. Just make sure you're able to use them before you run out. But mine efficiently, as you go deeper, you get a higher multiplier. It stops at a depth of 10,000. So really, get to 9501 as soon as possible to maximum your multiplier for these. And then you just start digging and you look for these ores, and you can use different type of things to get additional resources for that. And you can see again, I'm saving up a whole bunch of resources waiting for the next time when the tech event or comes around. And you can see, normally I wouldn't be, researching because it's more closer to late game now where I don't have enough speed up for it, but I will start, using it to upgrade my tech tree from all of these rocks, right? But I want to do it in the week that the event on. Similarly, so I talked about, the prayer. I talk about the tech. I talked about the relic, right? There's one more event on there, which is the soul. I forgot to mention it there. And the soul comes over here. And you can see, you can easily upgrade these for greater strength during the week, but I'm choosing not to do that because I am saving up. Like as you claim your soul trials every day, as you clear it, and there's a daily place where you can just claim for additional souls, or you can summon souls and salvage them. That goes towards the week where we have the soul event. So these are 4 resources that control different aspects of the game, your strength, but you want to use those specifically during the week. Now, if you notice that in these rushes on the calendar, there are also 3 other smaller ones. There's the Mount Rush, there's a Pal Rush, as well as there should be one called the Skills Rush. And I think we don't have next month calendar up, but it will come right around here. And that's when you want to use your specific save of resources around, your mount, your PAL tickets and your skill tickets for these draws, because those will give you an opportunity to rank. Now, if you're free to play, and especially if you're a player who've been playing for a while, now you're on a server where multiple server merges together and maybe competition is really tough, you might actually want to save for 2 months in a row, and that'd be a very viable strategy. Like for example, on my son's server, like they just recently had a server merge. I used to be able to easily get in top 10. Now I'm contemplating, do I want to save every 2 months? Because if you think about it, like if I'm really ranking down here to get 2 or 3 tokens, but if I save 2 months and I can get up here, I might be a little bit slow in my progression, which doesn't really matter too much once you get to a certain point in the game. And if you're trying to aim for these tokens, you're far more efficient saving for 2 full months instead of 1, and try to secure that first place. Especially on events like Relic Rush or the farming one, if you're very efficient about it, you could be much better than the whales. Like even the big spenders, you can beat them if you save up 2 months, because they usually, try to rank every single month. And here you can see there are certain things that will also help you with your event. For example, make sure during your week you use up all your super miners and bountiful harvest, right, to get extra bonuses on those events. Now, after talking about these particular rush events, there are other places to get your rush tickets as well. Now, but this becomes a little bit more difficult because you might not be strong enough, for example, to place very high on the rankings here. because your individual rankings will be able to give you rush tickets as well. You can see for individual personal rankings, where is it? To the right, you can see there are also tickets here. And also in the latest content, they added around Gladiator, they call it what? The Pantheon Trials. I just, key for whatever reason, think about it as like Roman Colosseum and stuff like that. But in your ranking, you will also get ranking rewards, and you'll get some rider pass tokens as well towards it. So this is kind of like one key resource in the game through different parts that you can get. But if you're free to play, really aim for those 4 events I talked about. You have a better chance of, ranking high on them. Of course, before I forget, they also have spending events, and on these spending events for your rankings, I believe. So here's your credit ranking. So these are often across, 4 different joint servers, and sometimes you get much older servers joining you, depending on the number of players. But this is more like a spending particular event. So based on your spending, like the number 1 person can actually get like 20 tokens, and this really, is very whale heavy. And because you have such old server, sometimes it's all about like whoever spends more to get it. So this is really for the whales as a way of getting a lot of tokens up quickly. Then the next part I want to talk about is, the other resources that significantly contribute to your skill and your overall damage and power. And another way to think about it is, when you select any other sort of player, for example here, you can quickly compare stats, and you can see where the source of the stats are coming from. So here, if you compare my HP, you can see all the different places like equipment, adventure enhancements, PAL, tech, all of these multipliers, and when it multiplies together. So your global HP total percentage, right, it's going to multiply by your base HP total, multiply by your raw base stat total, and that gives you your overall number. So it's often like 3 numbers multiplied together. So you want to optimize different pieces, and you can see the sources where it's coming from. And that basically comes from a sort of all the other stuff I'm talking about here. So when it comes to leveling up your equipment really comes from your lamps. And as you upgrade your lamp levels, you get better quality gear. You need gold to upgrade your gear, and your gold really comes mostly from, passively through either your dormitory, where you're kind of collecting it. That's why I said, this is really waiting purely AFK, right? You have some online reward, and if you're offline, it actually gives you more reward. So this is actually almost encouraging you, this aspect, to be offline. And of course, when you clear more stages, you can see these little coins drop on the ground. If you've been noticing when it can actually kill these. Okay, so there you go. You see some coins go up, and of course there's a chest that appears. That's where you get all of your coins. So coins allow you to level things up. You also get some lamps this way. Lamps are also obtained through, assault the lamp thief, and that allows you to upgrade. So once you upgrade, and by using these lamps, it actually goes towards your EXP bar, leveling up your character, which allows you to then roll and get higher level gear, and the lamp level drives the higher quality of the gear. Of course, quality boost far more than the level. So that's the equipment piece, and this is the part where you can you don't really have to save up. You can maybe save up before the next lamp level if you're able to get to a higher grade of equipment, but normally you would just naturally go as things go along. When it comes to artifact over here, there's two mechanisms here. One is your hammers, and as you level up, you get more overall stats, and you get some more evasion. You get to, ignore evasion from the enemy. By the way, for all the stats, you can find a description of all the stats by clicking the little icon here, and it explains you in the game what do all the different stats do. The other part is in here you have enchant. Under enchant, this is probably similar to very many other games you see. You kind of have a rune structure under each of these. You have different subs on it. They also have sets with set effects. So here is where you get them from your flame temple. Now flame temple, I think if you're starting out, you might be wondering, like, where is the flame temple? I don't have it unlocked yet. This game, And I will go through, through a full free-to-play playthrough, and we'll go along talking about the different aspects and how to, think about these teams. Flame Temple, I don't think it opens until like the 3rd or 4th week after your server starts. So to make sure all this resources isn't overwhelming for you, the game do release content based on how old the server is. This also prevents from, people whaling and getting way too far ahead, right? And, you start the game probably with just, I think, Assault Lamp, Thief, and Molten Ruins. And I think Ancient City opens up. Like, once you get to a certain stage, then these two opens up. But the rest, it takes a little bit of time. Then it allows you to gradually learn all of these different aspects of the game. And of course, after talking about the artifacts, there are, of course, the special artifacts. These are, most of them, you get them through pay-to-win events, but they give you basically additional ability on that you can, and they also give you some passive stats for unlocking these artifacts. So for a whale, they'll have tons of, global attack from the different stats. Sometimes artifacts usually give global attack. Of course, mounts here, similarly, you have special mounts all over, and they give you usually defense. Some give attack, most give defense or HP, and some other stats here. There's still a couple more to go through. You have your back, which consists of mainly feather levels, and you can see they, again, give you that overall stat. The talent system is very, very in-depth. You can actually level up all 4 trees at the same time. And, you start with some basic stat, but you start getting things that, get combine different effects together. So for example, I'm an archer class. If I go down this tree, I can get more healing on basic attack, but also if I choose to go down this tree, I can get additional HP through combos. Or if I want to do more defensive builds, I can get a lot of different resistance as I go further down these trees. And the third part is, of course, here's the pay-to-win piece. You can get different type of back artifacts to get additional ability or some sort of buff. And of course, they all come with global stats. So you can see as a whale would spend, usually these artifacts cost anywhere between like 100 to 300 to sometimes even 800 to guarantee some of these. And these are in USD dollars. Those are the, very whaling heavy components of the game. Last 3 things. Here is the avian. So avian you can think of as a little pet. They come with some base stats, which is add to your base stat, but they also have affixes. As they level up, these will increase as well. And of course, they have ability. Now we'll go into a detail about how to breed them and how to optimize, depending on what class you are, what pets you want to go after. Here is the star array. So star array, you basically want to use a combination of 3. And they also give you some passive bonus. So for example, here, the lamp genie allows me to get additional base lamps and unlock them a little bit faster. The chrono sprite gives me more clock winders. Over here, make sure that when you set your star array up, you want to make sure you have all 3 from the same group. So they should all either say passive, or they should all say active, or they should all say shield. So here you can see as I go through, right? Some of these are meant to use with active, and some of them are meant to be used with shield. You want to make sure all 3 are the same. And also explain. Like every aspect of the game, they actually do a decent job trying to explain to you how you should be using it. And of course, based on the hero list that you have, each of them also give you a little additional bonus stat here. Last but not least, I talked about souls, and souls I think here is kind of explained. Your souls have a lot of stats associated with it as you level up. I think I showed that earlier. And here is the ring. So this is the part where, you level up your ring and you get additional stats and, of course, overall global stats. What's really cool is through the marriage system, if you have a partner, you can actually level up your relationship with an individual through doing activities. And here you can see, based on the higher level you achieve, and of course you need more intimacy, the bonus ring attribute actually increases, and it goes up to a maximum of plus 70%. So the base stat that you get from these ring level up also is multiplied by your relationship with the significant other that you set up in the game. Which again, like I said, this is why it interests a lot of couples into playing this game as well. So that is kind of my quick overview of all the different key components to the game. Of course, there's so much to talk about, and I'll talk about each one of the different pieces in detail in subsequent videos. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you do want to spend in the game, you probably notice, the obvious information on the left side of the screen around Aptoide. Aptoide is a great way and a platform that allows you to support many type of games to get savings for the dollar. Your money is very hard earned, and at this point, if you got this far into the video, you can save some money yourself and support me through by downloading Aptoide, which is the link in the information below. And you can see Aptoide supports a ton of these games, and all of these support app coins. And you basically want to get the app coin wallet. In your wallet, as soon as you spend, you actually earn credits towards your future spending. So for example, in Legend of Mushroom, and here I want to top up and say, I want to buy this. You can actually find that, I can pay through PayPal or other method of payment, but I would actually be earning $1.28 in credit, which you saw that will go towards this wallet. So here you can see, typically, I'm able to spend, for every real $1 I spent, I get about $1.3 to $1.5 in the game. The more you use AppCoin Wallet, if you look at your rewards, you can see I'm on my way to level 15, and I'm already getting 14%. So if you type in your promo code here, Gandolf, submit, and you can see you'll get a 5% extra bonus. So now going forward, I will actually be getting 19% on any spending I do in the Legend of Mushrooms. So with that, I thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to this channel. You will see tons of guide and detailed information on Legend of Mushroom in the coming days. I'll catch you in the next one. Gandalf out.